This is sleepy nirvana. Tonight we sit with an ancient idea. Right now, you don't have to become anything. The day has asked enough of you, and for years you have asked too much of yourself. The old Chinese sages called it Wu Wei, not fighting the river, letting it carry you. The Tao Te Ching, written 25 centuries ago, says, "The Tao never acts, yet nothing is left undone." You don't need to do anything with those words. They can rest here, as you rest here, in the quiet dark. Tonight, non-striving is with us, what remains when you set down the weight of becoming. Notice your jaw right now. It may be clenched, your shoulders reaching toward your ears, braced, your breath shallow, held. Striving leaves marks on the body, the feeling that this moment is not quite enough, that you are not quite enough. You've carried this so long you've forgotten you're carrying it, like asking a fish about water. What water? You completed tasks today, solved problems, made decisions, and beneath that visible work, a quieter labor, monitoring yourself, measuring, worrying whether you're doing enough, being enough. That quiet labor is striving. It's a habit, a very old one, but even ancient habits can soften. They loosen when you stop tending to them. Open any app, any website, any magazine, and you'll find instructions for becoming a better version of yourself. Faster and stronger, more productive. Even peace has become another goal to achieve, another item on the list. Trees grow, rivers widen, children become adults. Growth is natural, but we turned it into an obligation. We started forcing what could have been allowed. Consider a tree. A tree doesn't strain. It doesn't lie awake, worrying whether it's growing fast enough or in the right direction. It grows when there's water and light, when the season is right. And when the season is not right, it rests. It doesn't call this failure. Your exhaustion may not be a sign that you need to try harder. It may be winter asking you to rest. Trying hard to fall asleep keeps sleep away. The mind monitors. Am I asleep yet? Why am I still awake? The watching becomes the obstacle. You can't force yourself to sleep. You can only create conditions where sleep becomes possible, and then get out of the way. Relaxation works this way too. You can't relax by trying harder. Joy won't arrive on schedule because you demand it. These things arise when conditions are right. They can only be received. Effort that flows feels different from effort that forces. Tonight we rest in that difference. In ancient China, philosophers noticed this same pattern. They watched people exhaust themselves in pursuit and saw how striving created suffering. They looked for another way. They called their answer Wu Wei. Think of water flowing downhill. The water doesn't try to reach the bottom. It responds to gravity, to the shape of the land, to whatever path opens before it. it always arrives. It carves canyons over centuries. It shapes continents. Wu Wei suggests that we too can move through life this way, aligned with circumstances rather than fighting them. We're going to spend time with these ideas. Let them settle into you. Some will stay, some will drift away. You don't need to do anything with what you hear. To understand this, let's return to its source. In the 6th century BCE, or earlier or later, the records are uncertain, there lived a man called Lao Tzu. His name means old master. Beyond this, history offers little. Some say he was a keeper of archives, a librarian in the royal court. Others claim he met Confucius and left the younger philosopher bewildered. Still others insist he never existed at all. That Lao Tzu is a name attached to wisdom that accumulated over generations. Whether he lived or not, what remains is the Tao Te Ching, 81 short chapters. About 5,000 Chinese characters in total. You could fit the entire book on a few pages. And this small text has been translated more times than almost any other book in human history. Readers return to it across centuries and cultures. Each one finds something different. The word Tao gets translated as way or path. But the Tao Te Ching opens with a warning. The Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Words will fail. We can point toward it, circle around it, through metaphor and paradox, but never capture it. Lao Tzu saw a natural order to things, a way the universe moves. Life flows when we move with this order. Fighting it brings suffering. Wu Wei is the art of alignment. In Chinese, Wu means without. Wei means action or doing. So, without doing. Non-action. Here, non-action, and you might picture laziness, withdrawal, letting the world spin on without you. Think of a master calligrapher. Their brush touches paper the way a bird lands on water. The ink falls where it should, and it looks easy. But the calligrapher spent decades arriving at this ease. They practiced until the brush became part of their hand, until intention dissolved into instinct. The calligrapher isn't trying to make beautiful characters. They're just making characters. And beauty emerges because nothing stands in the way. Wu Wei removes the friction that makes doing feel so hard. Lao Tzu was responding to Confucius. Confucius taught that society could be harmonized through proper ritual, correct behavior, deliberate moral cultivation. Learn the right way to act. Practice virtue consciously. Follow the established forms. The Taoists disagreed. When goodness becomes forced, it turns rigid, stiff. You can feel the difference between a kind person and a person performing kindness. The Tao Te Ching puts it this way. When the great Tao is forgotten, goodness and piety appear. When the body's intelligence declines, cleverness and knowledge step forth. We only need rules about goodness when natural goodness has been lost. We only need to think about how to be virtuous when virtue has stopped flowing on its own. The Taoist answer was a return to naturalness, a trust in what emerges when we stop interfering with it. The Tao Te Ching returns again and again to water. The highest good is like water. Water benefits all things and does not compete. It dwells in the lowly places that others disdain. Therefore, it is close to the Tao. Water, when it meets an obstacle, a rock, a fallen tree, a dam, flows around. It finds another path. The long way holds no shame for water. It keeps moving. It seeks the lowest ground, the humble places. Flames strive upward, and so does ambition. Water flows down, and in flowing down, it finds its way to the sea. Over time, water carves canyons. It shapes the hardest stone through persistence, gentle pressure that never relents and never forces. The Grand Canyon was not created by water trying to create a canyon. It was created by water being water, doing what water does for millions of years. Water adapts to whatever contains it. Pour it in a cup, it becomes cup-shaped. Release it into a river, it takes the river's form. It has no fixed shape. Nothing rigid to defend, and so it cannot be broken. Lao Tzu saw this: effort that moves without resistance, action that carries no force. Water is soft. You can put your hand through it with no resistance. Water also floods cities. Over centuries, it reshapes mountains. All life on earth depends on it. Your body knows this already. Muscles hold tension they've forgotten how to release. Breath catches in the chest without asking permission. Muscles can soften. Breath can deepen. Lao Tzu's teachings didn't stay in ancient China. They traveled outward and mixed with other traditions along the way. Around the same time that Lao Tzu was teaching in China, or perhaps a bit later, a prince named Siddhartha Gautama sat beneath a tree in India. The dates are uncertain. He had grown up wealthy, kept from any knowledge of suffering. Then he encountered old age, sickness, and death. His palace life suddenly meant nothing. He left it all behind to seek the end of suffering. He tried extreme asceticism, nearly starved himself to death. He pushed his mind through intense meditation. Suffering stayed with him. Then he sat beneath a tree and stopped striving. He let go of his techniques, his efforts, his seeking. And in that letting go, he woke up. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from craving and clinging. We want things to be different than they are. We grasp at pleasure and push away pain. We reach for what we don't have and hold tight to what we do. Here is the root of our dissatisfaction. The Buddhist path involves releasing this grip. See how grasping creates suffering and the grip loosens on its own. Non-attachment is holding life with an open hand rather than a clenched fist, loving without possessing, accepting that everything changes and caring anyway. When Buddhism traveled from India to China, it encountered Taoism. The two traditions recognized each other. They began borrowing freely. From their meeting emerged Chan Buddhism, known in Japan as Zen. Zen speaks of mushin, meaning no mind, acting without the interference of the busy mind, a mind so still it doesn't get in its own way. A Zen master was asked, "What is the way?" He replied, "When hungry, eat. When tired, sleep." The questioner was confused. "Everyone does this," he said. "What's so special about eating and sleeping?" The master smiled. "When most people eat, they do not eat. They think about 1,000 things. They worry about yesterday and plan for tomorrow. They judge the food, they judge themselves. When they sleep, they do not sleep. Dreams trouble them. The day's residue lingers, and tomorrow presses in before it arrives. But to eat when you are eating, to sleep when you are sleeping, this is the way. No striving, no extra layer of thought standing between you and what is. You are lying here now, this breath. In the Hindu tradition, the Bhagavad Gita speaks to this. A warrior named Arjuna stands frozen before battle. On the other side are his relatives, his teachers, people he loves. He is supposed to fight them. He is supposed to kill them. Arjuna is paralyzed. He doesn't want to fight. He doesn't want the consequences of his actions. He drops his bow and refuses to move. Krishna rides beside him as charioteer, a god wearing human form, and offers counsel. You have a right to your actions, but never to the fruits of your actions. Pour yourself into the work, and then let go. The harvest is not up to you. Pour yourself into the work, and then let go. The harvest is not up to you. Pour yourself into the work, and then let go. The harvest is not up to you. Let not the fruits of action be your motive, nor let your attachment be to inaction. You have a right to your actions. Do what is yours to do. But the fruits belong to the world, not to you. The rain falls or it doesn't. Other people choose what they choose. The wind shifts without asking. Pour yourself into the work, and then let go. The harvest is not up to you. We have traveled through several traditions now: Taoism, Buddhism, Zen, Hinduism. These arose in different places across different centuries. Their languages and customs share nothing obvious. And yet, beneath the different words, they point toward the same moon. All of them recognize that much of our suffering is added by us. We layer resistance onto difficulty, grasping onto pleasure. This extra effort, this pushing against what already is, creates most of our exhaustion. And all of them suggest there is another way. Aligned rather than passive, flowing rather than forcing. And each one teaches that this way of being isn't foreign to you. It's your natural state, buried under habit. You don't need to create it. Just stop covering it up. You've already experienced this without calling it anything. You've had moments when you were so absorbed that effort disappeared, when you stopped fighting and something opened. These traditions aren't asking you to believe anything new. They're inviting you to remember. Researchers have found a strange contradiction. People who chase happiness as a goal tend to be less happy. Those who let it arrive on its own, as a byproduct of living well, fare better. Happiness can't be grasped. It's more like a shy animal that approaches when you're not looking. Turn toward it, and it flees. Ask yourself whether you're happy yet, and the asking gets in the way. It's like trying to watch yourself fall asleep. The watching prevents the falling. The same applies to relaxation, to spontaneity, to most of what we long for. The direct approach fails us here. We have to come at them sideways, create conditions, then let go. Back in the 70s, a psychologist named Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi began studying what he called flow. He meant those moments when we're so absorbed in an activity that the rest of the world falls quiet. You may know this state. Time bends. Hours pass like minutes. The line between you and what you're doing dissolves. The doing becomes enough. Athletes call it being in the zone. Musicians know it as those performances where the music plays itself. Csikszentmihalyi found that flow occurs when challenge and skill are balanced. Too easy and boredom sets in. Too hard and anxiety takes over. Flow lives right at the edge of your ability, where you're stretched but not broken. In flow, there's effort, real effort. But it doesn't feel that way. It feels like breathing. The Taoists would recognize this state. You can't force flow. You can't decide to enter it through willpower alone. But you can create conditions that invite it. Choose activities that match your skills. Clear away distractions. Know what you're aiming for. Stop getting in the way. Flow arrives on its own. Modern psychology has noticed what the sages knew. Much of our suffering comes from struggling against our own experience. An anxious thought arises, and we fight to banish it. Sadness visits, and we pile shame on top. We tighten around our own pain. But there is acceptance. You don't have to like what's happening. You don't have to give up on change. You acknowledge what is present without adding the extra layer of struggle. The anxiety is here. Let it be. Sadness visits. Let it stay a while. Discomfort arrives. Make room. When we accept, we respond with more care. Action rises from meaning rather than the scramble to escape ourselves. We move toward what matters, even with discomfort as a companion. We stop fighting our own experience. We make space for whatever is present. The brain has what researchers call the default mode network. When we're not focused on external tasks, these regions light up. They're tied to self-referential thinking, ruminating about the past, worrying about the future. In meditation, in flow states, in moments of deep absorption, this network quiets. the inner commentator takes a break. The brain is complex, and measuring subjective states is difficult. But the brain seems to function best when we get out of our own way. The constant self-monitoring that our culture encourages isn't health, it's friction. The ancient sages were describing how we're designed to operate. Now, daily life. Notice when you're striving. We've grown so used to striving that it feels like normal life. The body is often the best guide. When you're forcing, the body tells you. The jaw tightens, shoulders creep toward the ears, breath becomes shallow, held high in the chest, hands clench. You're pushing against the current. The mind shows it too. Thoughts that won't settle. Urgency that doesn't match what's happening. Over the next few days, check in with yourself during ordinary moments. Waiting for water to boil. Pausing before you open a door. Where am I tense right now? What am I gripping? You don't have to do anything with what you notice. When you see that you're clenching, the grip loosens by itself. Non-striving still allows effort. The great calligraphers practiced for decades. The Zen masters who built those temple gardens worked through seasons of rain and heat. Two runners cover the same distance. One runs with ease, smooth stride, rhythmic breath, body relaxed even while working hard, moving like water flowing downhill, effort without fight. The other runs with tension, fighting their own body, gritting through every step, forcing themselves forward through sheer will. Both finish, but the quality of their effort differs. The first runner works with their body, with gravity, with the natural mechanics of running. The second fights all of it. You can write with flow or with force. Conversations unfold the same way. The outer actions look alike. The inner experience doesn't. Goals give direction and meaning, but your relationship to them matters more than the goals themselves. A compass shows you which direction is north. It helps you know which way to walk. It doesn't scream that you must reach the North Pole immediately or you're a failure. It points. You can follow it or not. You can take detours when the terrain requires them. You can rest along the way. The compass doesn't judge. Outcome goals focus on results. Get the promotion. Find the relationship. Other people's decisions shape them. Timing shapes them. Luck shapes them. You can influence outcomes, but you can't control them. Process goals focus on action. Do good work today and stay open to connection. You choose how you show up. Hold outcome goals loosely. Set the direction. Do your best. Release attachment to the result. The harvest is not up to you. We live surrounded by productivity worship. Rest has become something suspect, something we feel we must earn through sufficient work. And when we take it, guilt follows. We often approach rest with a striving mindset. Optimize your sleep, recharge so you can produce more tomorrow. striving dressed up as rest. Rest asks you to release the need to be productive, to let time pass without using it, to be still without needing to justify the stillness. The mind rebels against this. It whispers that you should be doing more, that stillness is laziness. Trees rest in winter, fields lie fallow between harvests, animals sleep for many hours. The earth rests in darkness for half of every day. Rest is not a failure of productivity. It belongs to the natural rhythm of all living things. Right now, lying here, you are resting. This moment needs no justification. This is what it's for. You don't need to emerge from this rest more productive or improved. You can rest. That is enough. Even when the body is still, the mind can be striving. Planning tomorrow, replaying yesterday. The mind evaluates and measures, never resting. This mental activity has its own kind of effort. You can lie still and be exhausted by your own thinking. You don't have to follow every thought. The mind presents thoughts. That's what minds do. A river doesn't stop flowing, and neither does the mind stop generating content. You are not obligated to engage with each one. Questions arise, and you can let them pass unanswered. Problems present themselves, and you can let them drift by. You can notice the thought and let it pass. Imagine the sky, vast and open. The sky has always been this way. Clouds drift through, some wispy, light as passing daydreams. Others hang heavy with rain, carrying worry or fear. And sometimes a whole storm system rolls in, filling everything you can see. Every cloud moves on. The storm passes. The sky remains. You are that sky. Thoughts don't need to be fought or pushed away. You can watch them from a distance instead of being pulled along. Oh, a worried thought. There it goes. One about tomorrow's plans. Noticed, released. The awareness where thoughts come and go. There is a voice in most of us that is never satisfied. It points out our flaws, reminds us of failures, measures us against others, and finds us lacking. You should be doing more. You're falling behind. You're not good enough. Everyone else has it figured out. This voice creates constant striving. We work harder, push more, driven by the desperate hope of being enough at last. One more achievement and the voice will be satisfied. One more flaw corrected and it will approve. But the critic is never satisfied. The finish line recedes as we approach it. The critic believes it's helping. It thinks harsh self-judgment is necessary for motivation. Without the whip, you'd be lazy. Without the criticism, you'd never improve. And yet we do better when we're kind to ourselves. We take more risks, learn more from failure, persist longer when things get hard. You might treat your inner critic with compassion. Acknowledge it gently, without fighting it or believing its impossible standards. I hear you. I know you're trying to help, but I don't need you right now. And underneath the critic's voice, another voice waits, a softer one. The voice that says, "You are enough. Your worth was never something to earn. You can rest." This is not a voice you have to create. It has always been there. Beneath all the thinking and striving, beneath the emotions that rise and fall, there is stillness, a quiet presence that watches. This awareness is not created, it is noticed. Thoughts come and go in this awareness. Emotions rise, then dissolve. But the awareness itself remains. Think of the ocean. On the surface, there are waves, always moving, responding to wind and tide, to passing ships, to the pull of the moon. But sink a little deeper. Feel the motion quiet, deeper. Here, the waves are only rumors. And deeper, where light itself forgets to reach, there is only stillness. The deeper you go, the less the waves affect anything. At the bottom of the ocean, it doesn't matter what storms rage above. There is only quiet, dark stillness. You are like this ocean. Your thoughts and emotions are the waves, always shifting, but you are also the depths. There is a place in you that is not disturbed by the surface activity, a place of peace. Non-striving isn't a technique, it's recognition of what is already here. Right now, as you lie here, you might sense this space, not by effort, by noticing what's beneath the thoughts and the breath, the stillness that holds it all. The word surrender makes many of us uncomfortable. It sounds like defeat, like waving a white flag and admitting you've lost. But the surrender we speak of here is different. Surrender is releasing the struggle against what can't be changed, stopping the fight with reality when reality has won, letting go of battles that don't matter, so you have energy for the ones that do. An old wisdom captures this. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Surrender is about accepting what can't be changed. The weather, the past, other people's choices, the fact of mortality. It doesn't mean giving up on what can be changed. Your response, your effort, these remain yours. The difficulty lies in knowing which is which. We often fight what can't be changed while neglecting what can. We want control. This makes sense. Control feels safe. If I can manage everything, nothing bad will happen. Keep all the plates spinning and everything will be fine. But think about how much of life you can actually control. You can't control other people, what they think or feel or choose. You can influence them at times, but you can't make them do or feel or think anything. You can't control circumstances, the weather, the economy, what happens in the world. You can't control outcomes, whether you get the job, whether the relationship works, whether your efforts bear fruit. You can't even control yourself. Your thoughts arise unbidden. Your emotions come without invitation. Your body does what it does, regardless of your wishes. What remains? Your choices in this moment, how you respond to what happens. These are within your power, the rest is not. Surrendering control means releasing your grip on the uncontrollable. What you can influence, keep that. Let go of everything else. Strange how letting go often brings better outcomes. Energy, no longer wasted on what you can't change, becomes available for what you can. When you stop fighting reality, you respond to it more clearly. Much of our striving is directed at this present moment. We want it to be other than it is. We want to feel something else. We want circumstances to shift. This resistance to the present creates constant tension. We are always at war with now. Surrendering to the present moment means saying yes to what is here, because it's here. The moment has arrived. Your resistance doesn't change it. Your acceptance doesn't change it either. But your acceptance changes you. When you accept the present moment, the fight ends. The tension dissolves. You stop pushing against what is. From acceptance, you respond with greater wisdom. Stillness becomes the ground from which action rises. Right now, in this moment, let everything be exactly as it is. The sounds around you, whatever they are, the sensations in your body, the feelings in your heart. Let them all be here without fighting any of it. This is surrender. This is peace. Letting go holds a freedom words fail to capture. It asks only to be lived. Release the burden of control. Stop fighting what cannot be changed. In that surrender, space appears. Lightness returns. We mistake surrender for loss. Yet you lose only tension and worry. And you gain peace, the capacity to meet life as it is. The Tao Te Ching says, by letting go, it all gets done. Hold sand in a tight fist, and it escapes through your fingers. Hold it in an open palm, and it stays. So it is with love and happiness. Grip tightly, and they slip away. Hold loosely, and they remain. Right now, you are practicing this freedom. You are lying still, not trying to achieve anything, not forcing any outcome. You have let go of the day. You have surrendered to rest. And in this surrender, you are receiving. This is always here. One breath, one release, and you arrive. Our time together draws toward its close. Let us rest now in truths that need no explanation. We have traveled far tonight, through ancient teachings and quiet corners of the mind. Now we return to what is most basic. You are enough, not a hope, a fact. Your worth was never earned through achievement, never acquired through improvement. It simply is. The striving that exhausts us grows from believing we are not enough as we are. We work and push because we believe we must earn our place, prove our value, justify our existence. But enoughness is not waiting in the future. It is here. It is now. When you recognize this in your bones, the frantic striving loses its urgency. You've seen through the lie that you weren't enough to begin with. Receive this. You are enough. You have always been. Rest in this. Just as you are enough, this moment is whole. We treat the present as a stepping stone. We are always waiting for life to begin. When I finish this project, when I find the right relationship, when things calm down. But the moment when we can relax is this moment. This life is the life we are waiting for. The Tao Te Ching says, "Be content with what you have. Rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you." This isn't pretending that everything is fine. The fullness of life is available now. The present moment, whatever it contains, is whole in itself. Right now, as you lie here, sense this completeness. The way this moment holds everything without lacking anything. This moment is enough. We carry a deep assumption that we are broken and need to be fixed, that we are missing a piece and need to find it. This fixing mindset is itself a form of striving. It keeps us in constant motion, always working on ourselves, never at rest. Nothing in you needs mending. What you call flaws are the shape of you. No tree is wrong for not being a different tree. This doesn't mean there's nothing to do. Trees grow, people develop, situations improve. Change is natural. But the growth happens when conditions are right. The tree doesn't fix itself into growing. It grows. We may be the same. We don't need to fix ourselves into becoming who we are meant to be. We need to stop interfering. Tonight, right now, there is nothing to fix. Whatever problems exist will still be there tomorrow. Whatever improvements are needed can wait. For now, you can rest in the radical possibility that nothing needs to be fixed. Rest. We have used many words tonight, and all of these words are like fingers pointing at the moon. The Tao Te Ching opens with this: the Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Whatever this deepest reality is, this flow, this naturalness, this ease, it cannot be captured in language. Words can point toward it. They cannot contain it. The map is not the territory. So let the words go now. You've heard enough. You don't need to remember anything, or apply anything, or do anything with what you've heard. Let it all settle, like sediment drifting to the bottom of a still pond. the stillness that remains when the words are gone, the presence that waits when you stop trying to understand. This is what the sages were pointing toward. Rest in it, here, now. And so we arrive where we began, in stillness. Tonight you achieved nothing. You were present, and presence was enough. It has always been enough. The Tao never acts, yet nothing is left undone. You don't need to understand this or believe it. You can rest in it. Tomorrow, the world will ask you to strive again. The demands and the pressure will return. That voice telling you to do more will speak again. And that's okay. You can engage with life, respond to what arises, do what is yours to do. You can work hard and care about what you do. But underneath all that activity, you can remember what you touched tonight. The stillness that holds everything. You are enough. For now, there's nothing more to do. This breath, the river flows to the sea without effort. The moon crosses the sky without strain. And you too can move through life this way. If sleep comes, let it come. If rest is what's here, let yourself rest. The earth holds you. The night holds you. You can let go. These words will end soon. Rest in the silence that follows. You are enough. Good night. We close here. Until next time, from Sleepy Nirvana.